It's been decades since the dust settled on the streets of Tombstone, but the legends of the OK Corral never truly died. From Kurt Russell's steely gaze to Val Kilmer's hauntingly perfect Doc Holliday, we loved them then. But where are they now? Some found eternal stardom, while others faced heartbreaking tragedies and quiet departures from the spotlight. Prepare for an emotional journey through time as we reveal the cast's shocking transformations. Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp, born on March 17, 1951. The Springfield, Massachusetts native had already transitioned from a Disney child star to an action icon before taking on the role of the legendary lawman. At the age of 42, Russell's portrayal of Earp in the 1993 film Tombstone revitalized the Western genre, delivering a performance defined by intense stoicism and commanding leadership. His delivery of lines like, "You tell 'em I'm coming," and "Hell's coming with me," cemented the character's status in pop culture history. While the film was initially a sleeper hit, it grew into a massive cult classic, with Russell's grounded performance serving as the perfect anchor to the flamboyant Doc Holliday, creating one of cinema's most memorable on-screen friendships. While Wyatt Earp was a grim, duty-bound figure often consumed by vengeance, Kurt Russell is known in reality for his laid-back, humorous, and warm personality, offering a distinct contrast to the cold steel of his character. The production of Tombstone, however, presented a massive professional struggle that tested Russell's endurance. Behind the scenes, the set was chaotic. The original screenwriter and director was fired early in production, threatening the film's cancellation. To save the project, Russell stepped in to ghost direct the majority of the movie, meticulously planning shot lists and managing the cast's morale while letting George P. Cosmatos take the credit. He sacrificed his own screen time and endured immense stress to ensure the film was completed, a burden he kept largely private for years after its release. Kurt Russell has continued to enjoy a prolific career, effortlessly moving between high-octane blockbusters like the Fast and Furious franchise and family favorites like The Christmas Chronicles. He also made a significant mark on television recently, starring in the MonsterVerse series Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. Aside from his professional longevity, he is celebrated for his enduring decades-long partnership with actress Goldie Hawn, a rarity in Hollywood. At the age of 74, he is an active and revered elder statesman of the industry, balancing select acting roles with his passion for winemaking at his successful label, Goji Wines. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. Born on December 31, 1959, the Los Angeles native was a Juilliard-trained talent before he donned the velvet coat of the legendary gambler. At the age of 33, Kilmer's portrayal of the tubercular, quick-witted gunslinger in Tombstone became a cinematic masterpiece, effectively stealing the movie from its lead actors. His delivery of lines like, "I'm your Huckleberry," became instantly iconic. His performance is frequently cited by critics and fans alike as one of the most significant Oscar snubs in history, forever cementing his status as a heavyweight talent in Hollywood. While Doc Holliday was a man recklessly resigning himself to death and chaos, Kilmer was known for being intensely, sometimes excessively dedicated to his craft. This perfectionism created a stark contrast between the actor and the role. While Holliday was effortlessly charming, Kilmer garnered a reputation in the industry for being difficult and demanding on set. This reputation proved to be a significant professional hurdle, leading to a decline in major studio offers during the late 90s and 2000s. He struggled to shed the label of being unmanageable, which relegated him to smaller independent films and personal projects for a significant portion of his mid-career. Val Kilmer's later life was defined by a courageous battle with throat cancer, a struggle that necessitated a tracheotomy in 2014 and permanently took his natural speaking voice. Despite the loss of his primary tool as an actor, he found new ways to communicate through writing, visual art, and the groundbreaking use of AI technology for his poignant return in Top Gun: Maverick. Val Kilmer passed away on April 1, 2025 in Los Angeles at the age of 65. He remains a symbol of artistic resilience, having transformed from a classic Hollywood heartthrob into one of the most enigmatic and respected performers of his generation. Sam Elliott as Virgil Earp. Born on August 9, 1944 in Sacramento, California, the deep-voiced actor brought a rugged authority to the role of the senior Earp brother in the 1993 Western Tombstone. At the age of 49, Elliott's portrayal of Virgil became the film's moral anchor, balancing the volatility of the younger characters with a stoic, commanding presence that resonated deeply with audiences. His performance helped cement the movie as a cult classic, and his image, complete with his trademark thick mustache and baritone drawl, became the definitive cultural archetype of the American cowboy for a generation. While Virgil Earp was a hardened lawman accustomed to violence, Sam Elliott is known in his private life as a gentle, soft-spoken, and incredibly polite intellectual, a stark contrast to the rough frontiersman he often portrayed. This persona, however, contributed to a significant professional struggle, the Western box. For decades, Elliott fought against severe typecasting, finding it difficult to secure diverse roles as casting directors could only see him in a Stetson hat. The production of Tombstone itself was also a trial. The set was plagued by chaos, including the firing of the original director and a grueling schedule that nearly derailed the film, requiring Elliott and his co-stars to work under immense pressure to save the project from collapse. Sam Elliott eventually broke through his genre constraints, earning a long-awaited Academy Award nomination for A Star is Born, and acclaimed praise for his work in the Yellowstone prequel, 1883. He has maintained a remarkably stable personal life, remaining married to actress Catherine Ross since 1984, a partnership that is considered one of Hollywood's most enduring success stories. At the age of 81, he is a revered elder statesman of cinema, continuing to select meaningful roles that utilize his legendary voice and presence while enjoying a quiet life away from the spotlight. Bill Paxton as Morgan Earp. Born on May 17, 1955, the Fort Worth, Texas native joined a legendary ensemble cast to bring the story of the OK Corral to life. At the age of 38, Paxton's portrayal of Morgan Earp served as the emotional heartbeat of the film, capturing the younger brother's innocence, loyalty, and tragic charm. His performance provided the necessary catalyst for the film's vendetta-driven climax, and his heartbreaking death scene whispering that he can't see a light remains one of the genre's most poignant moments, cementing his place in a movie that revitalized the Western for a new generation. While Morgan Earp was defined by his stoic bravery and grounded loyalty, Bill Paxton was known in reality for his infectious manic energy and a distinct boisterous Texan enthusiasm. This contrast often defined his career battles. Despite his dramatic capability shown in Tombstone, he faced the professional hardship of being frequently typecast as the frantic sidekick or the character who dies, a trope popularized by his roles in Aliens and Terminator. He spent years fighting to be viewed as a viable leading man rather than just comic relief or a supporting player, a struggle that required him to constantly prove his range in an industry that tried to box him in. Bill Paxton eventually shattered the character actor ceiling to lead blockbusters like Twister and the acclaimed HBO series Big Love, though he remained a humble and beloved figure in Hollywood until the end. Tragically, his career resurgence was cut short just as he was starring in the television adaptation of Training Day. Paxton passed away on February 25, 2017, at the age of 61, due to a stroke resulting from complications following heart surgery to repair an aortic aneurysm and a bicuspid aortic valve. His unexpected death resulted in a wrongful death lawsuit filed by his family against the surgeon and the hospital, alleging negligence, a legal battle that lasted several years before finally reaching a settlement in 2022. Michael Rooker as Sherman McMasters. Born on April 6, 1955 in Jasper, Alabama, the intense character actor had already shocked audiences in Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer before saddling up for the 1993 Western classic Tombstone. At the age of 38, Rooker took on the role of Sherman McMasters, the red-sashed outlaw who famously turns against the cowboys to join Wyatt Earp's legendary vendetta ride. His gritty, understated performance helped ground the film's ensemble cast, contributing to a movie that became a massive cult phenomenon, and redefined the modern Western genre with its sharp dialogue and stylized action. While Rooker often plays menacing, volatile, or stoic characters like McMasters, his off-screen persona is famously boisterous, gregarious, and filled with humor, a stark contrast to the quiet killers he portrays. His professional journey was heavily impacted by the struggle of typecasting. For years following his debut, he was pigeonholed almost exclusively as the villain or the psychopath, making it difficult for him to secure sympathetic roles. Additionally, the production of Tombstone itself was a trial of endurance marred by the firing of the original director and a chaotic on-set atmosphere that forced the cast to band together to save the film from potential disaster. Michael Rooker eventually broke through the villain barrier to become a beloved pop culture icon, finding massive late-career success as Merle Dixon in The Walking Dead and the blue-skinned Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. He has remained a workhorse in the industry, appearing in the Fast and Furious saga and Kevin Costner's Horizon and American saga. At the age of 70, he is still an active and energetic presence in Hollywood, continuing to film new projects and delighting crowds at conventions with an enthusiasm that defies his age. Stephen Lang as Ike Clanton. Born on July 11, 1952, the New York City native brought a chaotic and memorable energy to the screen in the 1993 Western Tombstone. At the age of 40, Lang's portrayal of the drunken, boastful, and ultimately cowardly outlaw became a standout element of the film, serving as the perfect antagonist foil to the stoic lawmen. His performance captured the desperate bravado of the Clanton gang leader, helping to cement the movie as a definitive modern Western, with his character's spineless survival instincts providing some of the film's most quoted and tense moments. While Ike Clanton was a slovenly, unhinged figure who fled when bullets started flying, Stephen Lang is a disciplined, classically trained theater actor, known for his intense physical fitness and commanding militaristic presence. This contrast required Lang to completely suppress his natural composure and strength to embody the erratic weakness of the outlaw. Despite the cult success of the film, Lang's career was defined by the grind of a working character actor rather than instant stardom. He faced the professional struggle of being a journeyman, for decades often delivering critical hits on Broadway or in smaller TV roles while being overlooked for major leading film parts that went to more marketable names. Stephen Lang eventually found massive global fame later in life, redefining himself as a formidable action star and motion capture icon. He has remained happily married to costume designer Christina Watson since 1980, maintaining a stable private life with their 4 children. His career reached a new stratosphere with his role as the terrifying blind man in Don't Breathe and his return as the complex villain Colonel Quaritch in James Cameron's ongoing Avatar saga. As of 2026, at the age of 74, he is currently active in the release window of Avatar: Fire and Ash, enjoying a late-career renaissance that has solidified his status as one of Hollywood's most versatile and enduring talents. Michael Biehn as Johnny Ringo. Born on July 31, 1956, the Anniston, Alabama native had already established himself in sci-fi cinema before stepping into the boots of the legendary outlaw. At the age of 36, Biehn's portrayal of the lethal Latin-quoting gunslinger provided the perfect dark counterpoint to Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday, creating an on-screen rivalry that became legendary. His performance was marked by a menacing intensity and intricate gun-twirling skills, helping to cement Tombstone as a modern Western classic and turning a villainous supporting role into a cultural favorite revered for its dangerous charisma. Despite the character's volatile, suicidal, and reckless nature, Michael Biehn is known off-screen as a disciplined and grounded professional, a sharp contrast to the death-wish mentality of Johnny Ringo. His career path following the film was fraught with professional frustrations. Despite his integral roles in massive hits like The Terminator and Aliens, he struggled against being typecast as the intense soldier or villain, which limited his opportunities for leading man status in major studio dramas. The late 90s and 2000s proved difficult as mainstream offers dwindled, forcing him to navigate a long period of direct-to-video releases and lower-budget B-movies, a challenging plateau for an actor of his early box-office caliber. Michael Biehn persevered through the industry's shifts, eventually seeing a resurgence in appreciation for his contributions to cinema, highlighted by a notable appearance in The Mandalorian in 2020. He continues to work alongside his wife, Jennifer Blanc, running their independent production company, Biehn Productions, which focuses on the horror and sci-fi genres. At the age of 69, he remains an active and respected figure in Hollywood, frequently appearing at conventions to meet generations of fans who celebrate his legacy as one of the 1980s and 90s most impactful action stars. Powers Boothe as Curly Bill Brocious. Born on June 1, 1948, on a cotton farm in Snyder, Texas, the commanding actor brought a menacing charisma to the screen in the 1993 Western classic Tombstone. At the age of 45, Booth's portrayal of the opium-smoking, red-sashed leader of the Cowboys became an instant fan favorite for its mix of lethal unpredictability and dark humor. His performance provided the perfect antagonist to Kurt Russell's Wyatt Earp, and his sarcastic delivery of the line, "Well, bye," remains one of the most quoted moments in the genre's history, cementing his status as a legendary screen villain. Despite his aptitude for playing cold-blooded killers and corrupt figures, Powers Boothe was known off-screen as a gentle, loyal family man who remained married to his college sweetheart for decades, a stark contrast to the sociopathic nature of Curly Bill. While his Emmy-winning breakout role as Jim Jones in Guyana Tragedy launched his career, it also created a professional hurdle as he frequently struggled against being typecast solely as a heavy or a villain. Furthermore, he faced industry instability with the cancellation of critically acclaimed projects such as the abrupt end of the HBO series Deadwood, which left storylines unresolved for years and denied him the chance to fully explore his character's arc during the show's original run. Powers Boothe continued to deliver commanding performances well into his later years, lending his distinctive voice and presence to projects like Sin City, The Avengers, and Nashville. In his final television roles, he introduced his intensity to a new generation of fans as Gideon Malik in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Boothe passed away in his sleep at his home in Los Angeles on May 14, 2017, at the age of 68, following a private battle with pancreatic cancer. A private service was held in his home state, and he was laid to rest at the Deadwood Cemetery in rural Texas, leaving behind a legacy defined by some of cinema's most compelling antagonists. Charlton Heston as Henry Hooker. Born on October 4, 1923 in Wilmette, Illinois, the cinema legend brought a lifetime of gravitas to the role of the prominent rancher in the 1993 Western classic Tombstone. At the age of 69, Heston's portrayal of Henry Hooker served as a symbolic passing of the torch in the Western genre, lending immediate authority and moral weight to the film. Though his screen time was limited compared to the lead protagonists, his presence as the stern, unyielding ally to Wyatt Earp provided a crucial anchor for the story. The film has since achieved cult status, with Heston's cameo remembered as a dignified capstone to a career defined by epic historical figures. While Henry Hooker was a stoic and relatively solitary figure of the Old West, Charlton Heston was a vocal and often controversial public figure who thrived in the spotlight, serving as the president of the Screen Actors Guild and later the National Rifle Association. Despite his massive early success, Heston faced the professional struggle of being heavily typecast as the biblical epic hero, which often made it difficult for him to secure contemporary or nuanced roles as cinema trends shifted in the 1970s and 80s. Later in his career, his outspoken conservative political views and activism led to a degree of alienation within the industry, creating a friction with the Hollywood community that had once celebrated him as its king. Charlton Heston continued to work sporadically in his final years, appearing in films like Any Given Sunday and making a notable cameo in Tim Burton's 2001 remake of Planet of the Apes. However, his final battle was personal rather than professional. In 2002, he publicly announced that he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, slowly withdrawing from the public eye as his health declined. Heston passed away at his home in Beverly Hills, California on April 5, 2008, at the age of 84 due to pneumonia as a complication of the disease. He was survived by Lydia Clark, his wife of 64 years, leaving behind a complex legacy as both a cinematic titan and a polarizing cultural figure. Dana Delaney as Josephine Marcus. Born on March 13, 1956 in New York City, the talented actress had already established herself with Emmy-winning work before joining the ensemble cast of the 1993 Western classic Tombstone. At the age of 37, Delaney's portrayal of the spirited stage actress and Wyatt Earp's love interest brought a layer of sophistication and modern independence to the Wild West setting. Her chemistry with Kurt Russell and her depiction of a woman who was both a glamorous performer and a rugged survivor helped cement the film as a cult favorite, making her character a memorable standout in a male-dominated genre. While Josephine Marcus was a flamboyant risk-taker who thrived on the unpredictability of the frontier, Dana Delaney is known for being far more grounded, intellectual, and pragmatic in her approach to life and art. Her career path was not without its what-ifs and frustrations. She famously turned down the role of Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City to avoid being typecast in sexually charged roles, a decision she later watched become a cultural phenomenon without her. Additionally, she faced the harsh realities of network television politics, particularly with her hit show Body of Proof, which was abruptly canceled after 3 seasons, despite strong viewership, a professional blow that she publicly criticized as a nonsensical business decision. Dana Delaney has maintained a consistent and respected presence in the industry, seamlessly moving between television, film, and theater while embracing her independence off-screen. She has been vocal about her choice to never marry or have children, viewing her freedom as a vital component of her happiness. In recent years, she notably starred alongside Sylvester Stallone in the series Tulsa King. At the age of 69, she is an active and ageless figure in Hollywood, continuing to take on complex roles that challenge the industry's standards for women over a certain age. Tenney as Johnny Behan. Born on December 16, 1961, the Princeton, New Jersey native stepped into the dusty streets of the American West for the 1993 cult classic Tombstone. At the age of 31, Tenney's portrayal of Johnny Behan, the corrupt and cowardly sheriff of Cochise County, served as the perfect bureaucratic foil to Kurt Russell's Wyatt Earp. While the film is often celebrated for its explosive action and Val Kilmer's scene-stealing performance, Tenney's work was integral to the narrative, embodying the slick, duplicitous nature of frontier politics. His performance helped cement the film as a cultural touchstone, representing the frustrating reality of lawmen who chose self-preservation over justice. In stark contrast to the spineless and morally bankrupt sheriff he played, Tenney is regarded in the industry as a disciplined, Juilliard-trained professional known for his reliability and warmth. While Behan was a character defined by his inability to stand his ground, Tenney had to possess significant resilience to navigate the volatile landscape of Hollywood. Following his role in Tombstone, he endured a difficult period often referred to by actors as the curse of the bubble, where he was cast as a lead in numerous series such as Brooklyn South, Get Real, and Kristen that were canceled prematurely despite critical promise. Additionally, he fought against being typecast as the generic handsome suit or the sensible ex-husband, a mold that often limited his opportunities to play more dynamic leading characters during the prime of his career. Tenney eventually overcame these professional hurdles, finding long-term stability and acclaim, portraying FBI Special Agent Fritz Howard on the hit drama The Closer and its spin-off Major Crimes. He also expanded his skill set behind the camera, directing several television episodes. In his personal life, he is a dedicated family man, having been married to producer Leslie Erdang since 2012, and is the father of actress Emerson Tenney from his previous marriage to Teri Hatcher. At the age of 64, he remains an active and respected presence in the industry, appearing in recent streaming hits like The Lincoln Lawyer, and continuing to work steadily more than 3 decades after his time in Tombstone. Joanna Pacula as Big Nose Kate. Born on January 2, 1957, in Tomaszów Lubelski, Poland, she was already an established theater actress in Europe before emigrating to the United States. At the age of 36, Pacula took on the role of Big Nose Kate in the 1993 Western cult classic Tombstone. Her portrayal of Doc Holliday's fiery Hungarian-born lover was praised for its intensity and authenticity, providing a perfect counterpoint to Val Kilmer's scene-stealing performance. Her striking beauty and command of the screen helped cement the film as a beloved entry in the Western genre, showcasing her ability to hold her own among a powerhouse ensemble cast. While Big Nose Kate was a rough-around-the-edges gambling woman of the frontier, Joanna Pacula was a classically trained artist who had fled martial law in Poland to pursue her dreams. Her career trajectory in Hollywood was defined by a series of high-profile what-ifs and professional hurdles that contrasted sharply with the decisiveness of her on-screen personas. She notoriously turned down career-defining roles in films like Basic Instinct, 9.5 Weeks, and Batman decisions, often attributed to her discomfort with excessive nudity or controlling personal relationships at the time. These missed opportunities prevented her from maintaining the A-list momentum she had generated with her Golden Globe-nominated debut in Gorky Park, leading to a career often relegated to B-movies and direct-to-video thrillers despite her immense talent. Joanna Pacula has maintained a very low profile in her later years, stepping away from the intense spotlight that followed her arrival in America. She continued to work steadily in the industry for decades, appearing in numerous horror and action films, such as Virus and The Warlock, though she eventually slowed her output to focus on a quiet life in Southern California away from the public eye. At the age of 68, she is largely retired from acting, remaining a captivating yet enigmatic figure of 1980s and 90s cinema, whose legacy is defined as much by her magnetic presence in Tombstone as it is by the superstar career that might have been. Bob Thornton as Johnny Tyler. Born on August 4, 1955, in Hot Springs, Arkansas, the actor stepped into the boots of the abrasive and cowardly card dealer Johnny Tyler in the 1993 Western classic Tombstone. At the age of 37, Thornton's portrayal of the bully who is swiftly humiliated by Wyatt Earp was a brief but unforgettable performance that established the film's tense atmosphere. Although it was a minor role, his ability to embody the sweaty, unnerved antagonist provided one of the movie's most quotable early scenes, marking him as a distinct talent even before he achieved leading man status. In stark contrast to the loudmouthed and easily rattled character of Johnny Tyler, Thornton was an intensely serious and struggling artist during this period, facing a reality far removed from Hollywood glamour. While Tyler was a man of the saloon, Thornton was living through a time of severe destitution, famously surviving on a diet of potatoes and suffering from a heart muscle infection induced by malnutrition. He faced significant professional headwinds, struggling to find steady work in an industry that often viewed him as too eccentric for mainstream roles. This era was defined by a fight for survival and recognition as he battled typecasting and financial instability just years before writing his own breakthrough. Bob Thornton eventually transcended his character actor roots to become an Academy Award winner for Sling Blade and a celebrated television star, notably in the series Goliath and the Taylor Sheridan drama Landman. He also pursued his passion for music as the frontman for the rockabilly band The McMasters. His personal life, once tabloid fodder due to high-profile relationships, settled into stability with his marriage to Connie Angland. At the age of 70, he remains a prolific force in entertainment, actively touring with his band and continuing to deliver gritty, acclaimed performances in both film and television. Val Kilmer's wit and Sam Elliott's gravitas defined an era of the Western genre that remains unmatched. As we look back at the cast today, we aren't just seeing the years go by. We're witnessing the lasting impact of a masterpiece that refused to be forgotten. If this trip down memory lane touched your heart, please give this video a like and let us know which character meant the most to you.